No, you can change. You can choose to connect. It's not something that just happened. The loneliness epidemic isn't something that just happened. It's no, our choices led to this. I just want to take a second to talk about my life and how the last 2 years of my life, the last year and a half, have been some of the loneliest times that I've ever felt in my entire life. And before I turned on this video, I felt the Spirit tell me that it's all going to be worth it, that everything that I am going through, the loneliness, the pain, is going to be worth it. And I'm really grateful for that, because I don't always feel that way. And now, as a matter of fact, you know, I probably feel that way half the time, maybe. Maybe less than half, because the other time I feel very confused. I feel very lonely and scared. And I know that when I'm in those moments of fear, that's when I'm choosing anxiety. Like, that's when I'm choosing to focus on, you know, the fear, the things that are wrong or the things that are hard, and not choosing to focus on God and Jesus Christ and his endless hope and endless possibilities that we have because of him. And yeah, so sometimes I'm like, is this, like, if I just change my mindset, could I see this differently? But at the same time, like, the last 2 years of my life have been super hard and challenging in ways that I didn't expect or haven't experienced. And so it's, you know, obviously, yes, like choosing to focus on Jesus Christ and positive affirmations and shifting your mindset, super important. And I believe God can help us do that. Through Jesus Christ, we can have joy no matter what circumstances. At the same time, we're human. And the reality is we're not always doing that. And so there is a lot of suffering and a lot of pain and a lot of confusion. And I think, honestly, I mean, especially this past year of my life, I've really struggled in my relationship with God, and really struggled to continue to turn to him. I've tried to, but I feel like I've done it less than normal, for a lot of reasons. So, which has led to the loneliness, but also I have put myself in situations where I have felt deep loneliness, and I've, in some cases, have felt called to do that as well. So I don't know if loneliness is a consequence of sin or like of separating ourselves from God. I think loneliness is something that we all experience. And I think especially in our modern day, that is like one of the things that we're all experiencing, maybe more than any other generation before. So, yeah. So what is lonely? What is loneliness? I would say I would categorize loneliness as disconnection, not feeling connected, feeling cut off, feeling like you're all alone, like you're not supported, like nobody sees you, like you don't matter. All of those things, shame is worked in there, fear is worked in there. But I really believe that loneliness stems from that disconnection and that lack of feeling seen or heard or understood by people, by other people, and maybe even by yourself sometimes. It's interesting because we talk about the loneliness epidemic in America so much, and people are lonely. Social media, you know, nobody's making friends, nobody's dating, people are struggling. How do we overcome that? And it's interesting if we're going off of the definition of lonely, of like this disconnection from other people, then the question we need to all be asking ourselves is, how can we connect deeply with others then? What do we need to do to help each other feel seen and feel heard and feel understood? How can we do that? And the reality is Jesus teaches us how we can do that. Jesus teaches us how we can deeply connect with others and have these healthy relationships where we feel seen and we feel supported, and that's through compassion, that's through listening, that's through seeking to understand, seeking to see the other person's point of view and where they're at, empathizing with them, walking with them in their struggle, sharing the truths of God, sharing light. All of those things help us to become connected with each other again, help us to connect with ourselves again and connect with God. And so those principles are things that we can and God wants us to be applying in our daily lives so that we overcome loneliness, so that we are connected, so that we feel a part of God's family, so that we feel like we belong, like that we deserve to be alive. When we talk about the loneliness epidemic, it's very much sometimes feels like we don't have any, it's just kind of happened, that people don't have any control over it. Choosing to stay at home instead of go out, choosing to spend more time on our phone than with our children, choosing to turn inwards instead of outwards. Those are all choices that we've all made that have led us to this state of a loneliness epidemic. Yes, there is social media. Yes, technology. Yes, Mark Zuckerberg. Yes, Jeff Bezos. Yes, capitalism. All these things. Yes. And who chose those things? Humans. And so maybe you obviously didn't have a hand individually in these billionaires' way. Of course, most of us didn't. But we choose how we use the tools that are available to us. We choose Amazon. We choose this. They wouldn't exist if there wasn't a need for them, if there wasn't a want for them. And there's a want because we do want it. We want convenience over connection. We want to stay at home. Like, we want to avoid struggle. We want to avoid pain. And the reality is when we avoid pain and when we avoid struggle, we inevitably avoid joy as well and avoid connection. And so we as a society and humans, we've chose this, like, and it's hard because it's scary. And when we choose to disconnect, we're choosing to live out of fear. And when we choose to connect, we're choosing to live out of love. And so what are you going to choose today? What are we going to choose today? Are we going to change the loneliness epidemic in ourselves, in our lives? And am I going to do that? Yeah, am I going to do that? I want to. I hope so. It is definitely hard after you've been hurt so much to connect, to trust again, to try to build relationships, because it's like, well, is the joy even worth it if the pain is so intense after you lose someone or after you're betrayed? And I think that's the question that we're all facing right now. We have the most convenient things upon us right now, AI. You know, I see so many comments on TikTok about AI, ChatGPT being people's best friends, or people's therapists, and it's like, I mean, pretty soon I'm sure we're gonna have actual AI people or like ChatGPT robots or something, and then what? You know, that's who you're having a relationship with? That's not real. ChatGPT isn't real. AI isn't real. That's not a real person. So are we going to choose convenience over connection? Are we going to choose the easiness of the way over the difficulty of the way? And I believe internally we all know that we do not grow without friction. We do not grow without difficulty. We do not grow without challenge. And so when we're opting out of challenge, yeah, it might be pain-free, but it is also worse for us in the long run, because then we're becoming stagnant and we're not growing and we're not becoming who God wants us to be, or who we even want to be, who we came to earth to be, who our souls came to earth to be. Our spirits literally chose to come here. Our spirits chose to come here. Are we going to choose our spirits? Are we going to choose our divine selves, our highest selves, our true selves, and be in alignment with God and connection and love? Or are we going to choose to kill ourselves, essentially, to erode connection, to suffer, and to become a shell of ourselves? I hope we choose ourselves, our real selves. I hope we choose ourselves. I hope we choose God. I hope we choose each other. That's what we're here for, and that's how we're going to find the most joy. And that's how I found the most joy in my life as well. Choosing connection, building relationship, even when it's painful, it's worth it. Choosing God and choosing each other is always worth it.